Today, I want to identify the psychological, psychosocial, mental, and even emotional effects of domestic violence. Now, when I talk about the social effects of domestic violence, there is a lot of shame that surrounds the victims. And so you might find that they are no longer having meaningful social connections. They are trying to they stop going to church. They stop, going out with friends. There is a lot of other issues that make them feel like people can see that they are victimized. They feel they have no power to be good friends. The other thing that happens is that because this thing of domestic violence is so much on the forefront of their mind, whenever they are out with friends, they feel like they are always complaining. They are always talking about how hard it is, how painful it is, nilichapwa tena, all that stuff. And they might feel that they are being a burden, not only to their family members, but also to their friends, and they might start to withdraw. They might feel that people don't understand them because people are trying to give them solutions, but they are solutions that may not work for them. And so they start to avoid people, and they start to avoid talking about their situation. So socially, you might find that they will be isolated. They withdraw from social situations because also they are not happy at all. Mentally, they will struggle with post-trauma stress. That means that they are having a lot of flashbacks, they are having a lot of nightmares, and they have a lot of anxiety, severe anxiety, which can go into paranoia. So they are jumpy, they are not able to relax because mentally they still have the visions, they still have the flashbacks, they still have the pictures. And so it becomes very difficult for them to get these thoughts and these feelings out of their mind. The other thing that you will find with people who are victims of domestic violence is that they have depression. And depression is deep sadness. They can't be happy, they can't laugh, they can't enjoy life because now they are constantly in this space where they cannot be themselves, they cannot relax because anytime the violence could happen. And then anxiety is the fear of the unknown. They cannot predict what is going to happen. I have had people say, and we know this phrase, walking on eggshells. That is a sign of anxiety, and trying to figure out how what you are going to do in order to make sure the violence doesn't happen again. So you live with a lot of fear. Then there is the issue of low self-worth and low self-esteem because of second guessing yourself. Because the person who is perpetrating violence towards you, they usually make you feel like you don't know what you do, you have no rights, and you are living your life now in this space of questioning whether what you desire and what you want, this safety you are looking for, whether you deserve it or not. They are the most close person to you, and they are constantly abusing you and constantly perpetrating physical violence towards you. And so you begin to even wonder, am I really a person of worth? And then what will happen is, if you have had a history of being rejected and abandoned, then those feelings will be now triggered, and you will begin to develop some mental illnesses, and also you will begin to do what we call suicidal ideation. And suicidal ideation is where you wish that you could escape the situation. You wish that your mind is unable to just relax. You are not living your life, you are wishing for death, because the situation is very, very difficult. And sometimes emotionally and spiritually they go hand in hand, because when you think about your spirit is where hope and joy and peace and love reside. Now you can imagine, if you are constantly being abused, you feel hopeless and you feel helpless because you can't do anything about it. So emotionally, you are unable to rise above the challenge because you have no power. You begin to internalize, I'm not worthy, that's why they treat me like this. Then you feel always discouraged about the future. You cannot predict a hopeful future. And then there is the inability to trust. You can't trust this person who is supposed to be the father of your children, the mother of your children, and your partner in life. And so emotionally, you are not able to grow. You cannot even feel safe. You cannot create anything because you are constantly on survival mode. The other thing that you experience is feeling unmotivated. You can't focus on anything. You try to do something and then something else comes up. You go home and you are discouraged and you are called names. Maybe you have a partner who cannot celebrate the things that you do well. Without even knowing it, what happens is that you lose yourself. You begin to lose yourself. You no longer can recognize who you have become. In this state of domestic violence, and then how that affects your emotional and mental state, you develop what we call now mental illnesses, like depression. Then there is the lack of sleep. You can't sleep well. You have nightmares. You are unable to rest. Your brain is constantly going and going. And then you also now get into the space of hopelessness and helplessness, which can lead now to other things like suicide ideation, but also it can cause you not to be functional. So you might lose a job, you might lose friends, you might lose a business because you are unable to function. And so it's important for you to kind of also identify whether you are feeling these things because of the situation you are living in. Other social issues that may come up is the use and abuse of alcohol and drugs. Because you are unable to manage your mental health, you have to find an escape route. The interesting thing is that for most women, especially women who are in the church, they will also find their solace in church. So they are in church all the time, but really, if you ask them, they are trying to escape being at home. Men, on the other hand, if they have a toxic relationship at home, they will hide in drinking, they will hide in friends, they will hide in work, they will hide in just trying to excel, trying to make money, to try and avoid dealing with the issues that are coming out of this domestic situation. So you will find that now you are trying to find ways to escape, but deep down in your heart, you are feeling stuck and hopeless and helpless. Now, when it comes to what we call anxiety, most of the times what I have found out is that this restlessness, because anxiety is really restlessness, it's rooted in fear, the fear of losing control, the fear of not being able to handle life. And when that fear grows and grows within you, the anxiety is what creates now the domestic violence. Because most people who have anxiety issues, especially men, they will behave in violent ways to try and assuage the intense feelings of loss of control that they feel. Sometimes there is that issue of what started it. Is it the domestic violence that triggered the anxiety, or is it the anxiety that triggered the domestic violence? Whatever the case, know the emotions you are feeling and get help for them. Because if you do not get help for them, then they become worse and worse. And what happens if you are in a depressed state and you are the victim in this situation? You are not going to be able to stand up or to do anything to create a different cycle. So you will just give up. You will just give in to the depression. And that is when now we are seeing people are dying, murder suicides that we see in homes. That is part of the depression, that now there is nothing I can do. I am stuck and I am just going to die. And women have been known to say, I'm not going to leave my children to be raised by another woman. So what do? They kill the children and they kill themselves. They create a plan to do that. We don't want to get to that space. So if you are in a domestic violence situation and no matter what you have tried, nothing is working, I want to encourage you to know that you can find help. Until I see you next time, I believe that you have picked one or two things that can help you. And if I can help you in any other way personally, reach out to me. My number is on the screen and my website is on the screen. Reach out to me and I will be more than happy to walk with you through this journey of becoming the best you that you want to become. Until next time, may the good Lord bless you.